Day, I'm waiting for somebody to come in. I haven't said that in a while. All right, crazy news. I just found this out right now. Just found this out right now. Nate Diaz is gonna be fighting Mike Perry. That's crazy. That's crazy. Nate Diaz is gonna be fighting Mike Perry, y'all. I don't know what to say about that. You know, because Nate Diaz is gonna be fighting Mike Perry. To me, that's just crazy. I never would have thought that. I've been I've been waiting. I'm a big Nate Diaz fan. I'm a big Nate Diaz fan. I'm I'm not gonna lie. And what's crazy about that is like, I almost fought Nate Diaz before. Well, I didn't almost fight him, but Nate Diaz was on the Ultimate Fighter season 5, and I tried out for that. I tried out for that. I didn't make it. But I just found out that Nate Diaz is gonna be fighting Mike Perry live on Netflix, and it's gonna be on. Let's see the date, cause this is gonna be interesting. This is gonna be interesting, and it's gonna be hard to see who's gonna win. All right, so Nate Diaz versus Mike Perry. The fight's gonna be. Let's see. Come on, man. The fight's gonna be Saturday, May 16th. So we in March 16th, right? March, January, March, April, May. 2 months away. The fight is exactly 2 months away. It's gonna be live on Netflix on Saturday, May 16th. This is a big fight, y'all. So far, you have Ronda Rousey and Gina Carano as the main event. You have Ngannou and I forgot who's fighting. Felipe, I forgot who's fighting. And then you have Nate Diaz and Mike Perry. It's a triple header. And all of them are 5 rounds. All of them are 5 rounds. Netflix is trying to compete with the UFC. The UFC actually has a fight card that day. It's one of those Apex cards. But the UFC is going to start earlier than usual. Because Netflix starts around 8 o'clock. This is a big fight. And a lot of people are saying that the fight between Mike Perry and Nate Diaz is the real BMF title. Okay? I actually met Mike Perry before. I saw Mike Perry years ago at one of the clubs in Miami. Cool guy. Not that tall, but definitely strong. And then Nate Diaz, I have not met him yet, but I almost kind of fought Nate Diaz. If Nate Diaz was on Ultimate Fighter season 5, I tried out for that. So in theory, if I had got chosen, I would have been on his team or against him. So that's a little interesting right there. But Nate Diaz is gonna this is gonna be a crazy fight, y'all. This is gonna be a crazy fight. Because at the end of the day, Mike Perry is gonna bring the fight. Nate Diaz is gonna bring the fight. Both of them are gonna bring the fight. Both of them are gonna bring the fight. And my thing is, this fight is gonna be 5 rounds. To me, it's gonna go all 5 rounds. I think so. I think it's gonna go all 5 rounds. And Nate Diaz has his mean face mugging people. Mike Perry just won a ball. Both of them just won a ball. So, who y'all think is gonna win? That's a question that needs to be asked. Who y'all think is who y'all think is gonna win? Because we all know. I don't know. Whoever I think is gonna win. What's up, summertime? As far as who I think is gonna win, it's a tough one. I think Nate Diaz is gonna win by decision, and it's gonna outpace Mike Perry. Mike Perry is gonna try to knock him out because Mike Perry does that. Nate Diaz is gonna just pepper, light him up from a distance. Nate Diaz is way better on the ground than Mike Perry. Is Mike Perry gonna try to take Nate Diaz down? No. Is they gonna try to take Mike Perry down? Who knows? If it goes to the ground, though, I'll tell you that Nate Diaz has a big advantage on the ground. So I think it's gonna go to the ground eventually because it's 5 rounds. Now Mike Perry isn't a slouch on the ground. Mike Perry has been to grappling tournaments before, so he can grapple. Is he an elite grappler? Of course not. I won't say of course not, but he's not an elite grappler. Nate Diaz is an elite grappler. Nate Diaz is an elite jiu-jitsu practitioner. Man, so my question is, do you think the Netflix can compete with the UFC? This fight is gonna be on Netflix. Do you think Netflix can compete with the UFC? I really don't know. Now, this is apparently Netflix tried to buy the rights to the UFC, and the UFC went with Paramount because Paramount's paying double the price. But so Netflix was willing to spend $600 million a year for the UFC rights. UFC said no. So some people think that the money that Netflix was going to spend on UFC, they're going to spend on making their own fights, their own MMA fights. Francis Ngannou is going to be fighting again. I don't know how much of these guys, I don't know how much they're getting paid, all these fighters, but Gina Carano, Ronda Rousey, for sure they're getting probably 5 or 10 million. If they, say minimum. Francis Ngannou probably 10 in the minimum. Probably Mike Perry, probably Nate Diaz is getting paid the most. Cause even though all of them are popular, Nate Diaz probably I'm not gonna lie. Ronda Rousey is pretty popular also. So put it this way, all of them getting paid, which is good because I think fighters should get paid as much as they could, as much as they can. But my thing is, can Netflix continue this? Can Netflix continue putting on great fights? Because I'm not gonna lie, I don't know if y'all know yet, but I used to be a big UFC fan. Big. I mean, I used to watch every show, every week, everything. Did you know that I stopped watching UFC about 2.5 years ago? Yes, I have not seen a full UFC card for about 2.5 years. I stopped watching it because I don't think they care about certain groups of people. Let's put it that way. But so this Netflix card is gonna be the first MMA fight card I'll be watching in 2.5 years. And I want Netflix to succeed. Now, the promotion is MVP Promotions, which is Jake Paul's promotion. Jake Paul doesn't like Dana White, and Dana White does not like Jake Paul. So, Jake Paul is directly going after the UFC. And you got to give it to him, See what you say about Jake Paul. Jake Paul, where he's at right now in his career, he's up there. He's up there. He fought, I forgot the boxer's name, but it got his jaw broken. But, at the end of the day, he did step in there. And ironically, Jake Paul boxed Nate Diaz and Mike Perry, and he beat them both. So, and then supposedly, if Francis Ngannou wins this fight, which he should, supposedly he might fight Jake Paul in a boxing match. I mean, if Jake Paul fights Ngannou is not gonna try to play with him or carry him. Ngannou is gonna try to knock him out. I think it's a bad fight for him. I really think so. Because, again, I give Jake Paul credit. Jake Paul got cojones. You know? Give me a second, yo. You know? But yeah. Give me a second. But hold on, Chad. Give me 1 second. So, I guess right now, can the UFC, can Netflix compete with the UFC? Can Netflix compete with the UFC? I don't know. Can Nate Diaz beat Mike Perry? I think Nate Diaz is going to win by decision. I think Mike Perry is going to try to knock him out. Traditionally, it's been hard to knock out Jake Paul. Nate Diaz. It's just been hard. But let me know what y'all think below, okay?